Pillars of the Moon and Blessed New Moon. And so this little video I'm creating for you is just to give you an introduction into the Pillars of the Moon and the 13 moon journey that we go on every year. And so a lot of what I'm talking about is connected to the Northern Hemisphere, or England especially, the place where I'm living right now, because a lot of what I'm describing is a seasonal journey. And so I really love to, get the stars involved as well, and that's a big part of it. But like for me, like it's the seasonal Celtic wheel of the year, and how we blend that together with the stars, and how things have shifted and changed over the years, and so now we are coming up to our new moon, which will be at 8:31 on Friday in the GMT time zone, and that's in the evening. And so in the Pillars of the Moon cycle, this is our first moon. So our first moon of the new lunar year, and that's because it's the moon that falls over Samhain. And so Samhain is the end and the beginning, and in Celtic tradition, it is our new year. It's when the seeds have dropped down, like the apple has fallen from the tree, and we're breaking down the old. It's the death of the end of the cycle, and then of course within that are the seeds of the new year. And so this is a really important time for us in the year. It's a time right now of letting go of a lot of stuff. And so the first moon is known as the death moon, or some people call it the blood moon at this time of year. And it's falling over Samhain. It's when the veil is the thinnest, and where we can connect with our ancestors. It's funny because we've had some really otherworldly experiences in our house recently, and it's been in the last week, and I think, oh, okay, yeah, maybe the ancestors are talking quite loudly this year. So yeah, I feel like it's a time of really hushing down a bit and listening to those the wisdom that's coming from our ancestors and beyond. And so the Pillars of the Moon, to me, being a journey, a cyclical journey or a spiral journey that starts at the end. So it starts at Samhain, which is where we're coming up to now, and that's the new year. And then we go in. So the seed goes into the earth, into the soil. And so we have 5 inner journeys. It's like the 5 seeds of the apple that go into the earth. And so we have 5 moons, 5 lunar cycles of an inner journey. And so we have the death and the descent moon. The descent moon is when we connect with Ophiuchus, so the serpent bearer. The death moon before that, which we're going into now, is connected to Scorpio. And so the constellations in the lifetime sky are quite different now, because the earth has shifted and tilted over the years by a degree each year or something. And so over hundreds and hundreds of years, we shift whole constellations. So now when we get to Samhain, the sun is just coming into Libra in the lifetime sky. So that's different to obviously Western and tropical astrology. So the lifetime sky to me is how I learn from the sky. I don't pay any attention to Western or tropical astrology anymore, because to me, if I can see something in the stars, I can see, okay, this is where Mars is, this is where the moon is, and I've got binoculars and software and things, and I can say that this is where such planets are at each time. And so to me, that is my reality, and so anything else, it's kind of not relevant. So I'm not going to talk about anything else, but Samhain and the solstices and the equinoxes, they fall around the same time each year. That stays the same. So that's our seasonal wheel. And it does work with the stars. So the way that I've done it, because we have 13 moons in a year and there's 13 constellations. And so the constellation that we're starting with the death moon or the first moon is Scorpio. That is the death of the old and the rebirth. And so in the lifetime sky, Scorpio is only a really small constellation, and it only takes the sun a week to go through Scorpio. So by the time we get to the 30th of November, we come into Ophiuchus. And so then the moons kind of match up. It's just at the beginning where it's a little bit like the death is actually in Libra, but you know, we can also take it because everything has shifted, and then we can learn from it in a different way. So the death moon is now, the sun is in Libra, so that has its teaching, you know, because things have shifted. So what we was learning when, you know, thousands of years ago is different to where we're at now, globally and collectively. So yeah, so we move through the cycle, we move through the wheel. And so beginning at the end at Samhain, and then we have our 5 inner journeys to rest, restore. You know, the autumn and the winter is the yin time, it's the feminine, it's the feeling, it's the restoration and the nourishment, it's stillness and wisdom. So for me, I see that the Scorpio, Ophiuchus and Sagittarius, these are like the autumn aspects. And Sagittarius is the fire that takes us into the wisdom keepers of winter. So it's that fire to get in. It's the gates of hell, basically, which is the galactic center, which is where Sagittarius, the galactic center is in Sagittarius. So when the sun gets into Sagittarius and we have our new moon in Sagittarius, that moon is called the homecoming moon. And so this is like, it will be around the time of the solstice, the winter solstice here in the north. And this is a time of celebration and homecoming. It's like we've done our descent, we've gone down the tail of Ophiuchus, and we're here at the galactic center, we're back at the womb. And so this is where we have our day out of time. And so that falls around that, the full moon on that cycle, which I think this year might be around Christmas Day. So that is like a day of rest, day of homecoming. And then once we go through the fiery gates of Sagittarius and the homecoming, we find ourselves in the winter elders of Capricorn, Aquarius and Pisces. And so to me, these are the inner realms, and Capricorn is like the divine father. Aquarius to me is the divine mother. And so they represent the Vesica Pisces in the cosmic realms. And so Pisces is the center point. It's the divine child, it's the soul essence, it's the conscious ocean of everythingness. And so these 3 moons, we connect with the father, the mother, and the sacred child within. And so this is our winter time. And so in those winter months, we are exploring our inner realms and our masculine and feminine aspects, and uniting them and healing them and processing whatever came up throughout the external year out there in the world. And so then when we get to Aries, that's the fire, is the gateway out. So fire in, fire out. So we have the fire in with Sagittarius and then the fire out with Aries. And so by the time we get to Aries, that takes us to our, we're in our spring equinox time. So this is the birthing energy, that ring of fire, the up and out, the new shoots moon, that's what that moon is. And then we come into Taurus, and that's our Beltane moon, the moon of the lovers. And then we have our spring energy. So we've got the spring is the Aries, Taurus and Gemini. And so this is about sexuality, exploration, communication, networking, practicing our skills. What do we love? What do we like to feel? Who do we like to be around? And then by the time we get into Cancer, that's the mother, we find ourselves in our summer aspect. So we have Cancer, Leo and Virgo. So we have a moon for each of those. And so that is our summer. It's like, yeah, Cancer, Leo and Virgo, it's like expression, it's fire with the Leo. Virgo is like the mature mother. She's like the one that's harvesting all the corn and really, yeah, refinement and really like cleaning and clearing the way to get ready for winter. And then the last moon, which we've just experienced, is the Libra moon, which is the moon of completion. It's the end of the cycle. It's the golden moon, or the golden era. It's that connected to Isis energy, and it's also connected to the Swan energy and Cygnus, constellation Cygnus. And so over the course of the next year, I'm going to explore each of these moons, each of these archetypes and aspects, and go on a journey. And so my invitation is for you, if you're interested in this and you would like to join me, please subscribe to my page or follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and come on the journey with me. It doesn't cost anything. I've been following it for the last 2 years now, and each year I find more learnings and more depth from it. And this is especially for people who are in the Northern Hemisphere, so people who are in autumn now. And this is about coming into like clarity with the land we're on, like witnessing ourselves and the reflection in nature around us. And also I want to create like a community group for Pillars of the Moon where we can all discuss this, talk about this. So if you want to follow me or follow this journey, please get in contact with me. You can send me a message on my Instagram account or Facebook Messenger, and or you can contact me pillarsatthemoon@gmail.com. And yeah, I'm going to set up the community real soon, and we can discuss it and go on the journey all together as a collective. And so yeah, we all have so much to share about this stuff. And for me, like so for example, now the full moon, which is coming up on Samhain, some people are saying it's a blue moon. A blue moon is when there's 2 full moons in 1 month. But in the lunar calendar, there's 13 moons in a year, so you would never have 2 moons in a month. The months are kind of irrelevant as well, because the months are like, well, it doesn't match the moons, basically. So of course, there's always going to be 1 month that has an extra moon, because it's, you know what I mean? So blue moons to me don't exist. Like 13 moons a year, so we're on our first moon. And so what is this moon? This is the death moon, it's the blood moon. This is the moon of Samhain. It's the end and it's the beginning. And it's the time to think about what we're letting go of, what over the last year has been our real triumph. What do we want to carry through with us for the next year? So when you think about the apple, you have to think that the skin is coming off and it's breaking down. So we're breaking down the old of the old year. You know, we're starting to really think about everything that we've learned. And this is a real time of reflection. The next 2 weeks, while we're leading up to Samhain, is a really, really beautiful time to look at what's happened over the last years. Think about, what are we leaving here in this year? What are we letting go? What skins are we shedding? Or what leaves are falling? And then what seeds are we planting for the new? So, and there'll be a big fire on Samhain. I invite you to have a fire in your house on Samhain, connect with your ancestors. I'll be doing another video on Samhain as well. So that's all from me for now. And yeah, please, if you have any questions, just get in contact with me. My email address, pillarsofthemoon@gmail.com. And yeah, and please subscribe and follow, and let's go on this journey together. All right, new moon blessings and happy new year. Mwah. I love you. Bye.